about today. So be sure to hit me in the comments here and let me know what questions you have because we're going to have a live discussion. Radiologic technologists are not doctors. We work with doctors. We have our own doctors, which are radiologists. They are medical doctors, but they specifically do imaging. So some of the things that we get to do with the doctors, the radiologists, is we actually do barium enemas, barium swallows, which is when patients are having trouble either with their gastric system, the swallowing system, the stomach, anything in the mouth to rectum area. We can image those things by using contrast. So that's one that could be a pro and a con because some people do not know when they go to school for radiologic technology that they are going to have to do things like that. Like, and it doesn't stop at radiology. This is another con that people just don't know when they get into our field is some people say, well, I don't like the gory stuff. I don't like dealing with bodily fluids. Well, they go straight into MRI and try to bypass radiologic technology thinking they're going to bypass that. That is not a realistic thing because in MRI, which I do, we do dephograms, which basically it is just what it sounds like. It is when people have fistulas or doctors think that they have a fistula and they want to make sure that what's going down the bowel is going out the right way and not going through an opening into the wrong way, which requires that we do what's called a depthogram in MRI. So if you think you're going to bypass being a radiologic technologist and some kind of way not have to deal with bodily fluids, all of our modalities, that is one of the pros, and I guess it's a con for some people, but those are some of the things that make us so different when it comes to radiology and medical imaging is that we get to image all types of body parts. We do forensic radiology. We do veterinarian medical imaging. We don't just take x-rays of humans. They also use it in the research. I mean, I did research for several years. Really cool aspects of medical imaging is the research part, which I think a lot of people really don't understand all the opportunities there are. So these are some of the things I hear, which for some are cons is, well, I'm going to be pigeonholed into just doing, hey everybody, thank you for joining us live. Let's get this chat going. Y'all ask me any questions you want. We are live talking about radiologic technology, all things radiology, medical imaging, any modality you want to ask me about. I'm on here as long as y'all need me to. I'm going to a pool party. Don't know how long I'm going to be out there because it's hot. So I'm picking up pizza. I'm at Marco's now picking up pizzas. But definitely ask me any questions you want about radiology. And we're talking all things medical images. So be sure to you know, check out my page because it talks a lot about the questions that many people have. What are some of the pros and cons of being a radiology technologist? Should I go to school for MRI and bypass radiology technology? I'm going to tell you all of those things if you want to ask me questions specifically. So I'll start at what is a radiology technologist? We actually are the bread and butter of medical imaging. That is where most people start their careers in radiology technology, which includes not only taking x-rays of people's bones, but, the pros and cons of mammography. Yes, I'm going to do that next. So mammography is another modality of radiology technology. So with radiology technology, that's where most people start. And they start there because it's a minimum of a 2-year degree from an accredited program. And I'm going to talk about that too because that's a little dicey, a little touchy. People are like, well, if the program's not JRCRT certified, and I'm going to tell you why accreditation is important. It won't stop you from getting your license in some states, but it can stop you from working at certain hospitals. So stay tuned because I think you're going to be shocked when I tell you this. And I'm going to try to pull it up on my computer here when I tell you there's one specific place you cannot work if you don't go to a JRCERT program. Stay tuned. Be sure to stay here. So you go to school for 2 years to be a radiology technologist. There are only a few modalities that you can do without going to school to be a radiologic technologist. That's going to be MRI. You can go straight into MRI without going to school for radiologic technology. You have to find a school that'll let you do that. You usually have to have an associate's degree to sit for your ARRT. That's why some MRI techs who bypass radiology technology school get the armorate. ARRT has different requirements even if you bypass radiology school and do MRI. Nuclear medicine is another one. You can be accredited or registered or certified by the ARRT as a nuclear med tech without going to school for radiology technology. But you also have other accrediting boards as well besides the ART. You can go for radiation therapy. ART again accredits you, but you have to go to a program that gives you a degree for a radiation therapist. Hey, welcome to the live. Hit the comments. You guys drop your comments, what questions you want me to ask. This is a live. We're talking pros and cons. I'm going to be in here for a while. My first 5 minutes from now, but I'm going to be in here because I'm going to a pool party. So I'm going to answer all your questions, whatever you guys want. We're going to be in here talking. The other modality you can go into and bypass radiology technology is ultrasound or sonography. That is its own. You can be ARRT registered, but they have their own accrediting agencies. Certifying agencies as well. Ultrasound. So other than that, that is it. In order to do CT, interventional, bone density, mammography, you have to go to school for radiology technology first and get your 2-year degree. Great question. Work-life balance. So that is where you start getting a 2-year degree radiology technology. That is what I did. It has served me well because I have options. When I get tired of one, I can go to something else. How could I speak on the pros and cons of mammography? So I am not an ARRT registered mammography. I don't have the M credential because I never took the ARRT exam, but I did go to school for it, nationally certified to be able to do screening mammos. I don't do mammography, but I enjoyed it when I did do it, the screening part and the studying for it. But I do MRIs of the breast, which is why initially I went to school for to learn mammography, because I wanted to make sure that I knew all about mammography as I was doing MRIs of breast. That's how a lot of these modalities cross over. I'm going to move my phone because it is so sunny out here and the sun is kicking my phone's butt, so I don't want it to get too hot. So that is one of the things about mammography. So for me, a pro to mammography is you actually get to work very closely with women who go through a lot of personal things. And as a woman, mammography can be very, very interesting. Some of the cons are you do the same exams. You deal with the same body part, I will say. That's more so. You deal with the same body part all day in that profession. So it can get monotonous for some people, but it also depends on where you work. Some places just do screening memos all day. That's what they do. Other places, they can do the more detailed biopsies. They can do different things, especially if you work for a breast doctor. They have all type of other things. So there's opportunity within there. You can also learn quality management, which can serve you well later on if you want to get out of patient care and do more of the data side of it, if that makes sense. So I feel like any modality you go into, you should be learning all of those other little skills that you can take to another job later on. Like sometimes we don't think about our patient care or all the data stuff we do, all the organizational things that we do when it comes to, or technical things that we do as skills. I'm telling you, we do a lot of things within our profession that we can take and say, oh, that I was a director in this, or I did operational in this, or I did project management in this, especially in mammography. So there's so many options. You could work outpatient, inpatient, like outpatient, but in a hospital, inpatient as well, which means you're attached to a hospital. So you can work for a breast doctor. Some of the pros are you make good money doing mammography, and you're not pulling over large patients, which over time wears on your body. So that is one of the pros. One of the cons is you probably won't get a lot of overtime, if any. You won't get, other pros are you don't have to work weekends or holidays for most places. Now, I'm not saying that mammography technologists do not work weekends and holidays. They do, because they have to accommodate people who are coming in who can't come Monday through Friday day shift. But for the most part, it has a very solid schedule. You don't have to really worry about, am I going to be on call every other week when you're a mammography tech? It's kind of consistent with the schedule. It works great, especially for people with kids or who don't want to have to work, all the time. So, and be on call all the time. Do I have a video? Do I have a video of the exact steps I took to get where I am? I do not. I need to figure out what were those exact steps, because I'm going to be honest with you. I'll talk about that a little bit too. I do need to make a video on that, because as I was going through this profession, when I got in, I had no clue what was out there. And things have changed as well. That's the one of the main reasons why I got on social media, was because when I started, I had no clue what this profession was all about. I had two really good mentors, three. One has passed away now, but I had three really good mentors that helped me to kind of show me, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I'm a kind of go-getter anyway. And I think you got to have that little fire in you also. But that's one of the things I would say. I had really good mentors, three women that were instrumental in making sure when I got out of school, they were like, no, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. Yeah, like they didn't ask me. They were like, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. But I think they saw within me too, because I do have a video that shows my first pivot. And I actually gave a speech for Siemens about it. And that when I was a student, we had 2 years to learn, get all our exams done so we could sit for our ART. By the time I got in school, I was like, wait a second. In clinical, I'm looking at all these people that did nuclear medicine, radiation therapy. And I was like, and I'm just learning x-ray right now. But there's got to be more to this. And why am I not learning more? I got 2 years. I can knock out all these exams in 1 year. And that's what I did. I just kept my mouth closed and I knocked out all my exams in 1 year. I told no one. Because it wasn't against the rules, but I knew that if others found out what I was doing, they would try to stop me, because that meant I was going beyond what the program had laid out for us. But there was nothing in the bylaws or the program that said I couldn't do what I was doing. So I wasn't breaking a rule. I just thought outside the box. And I think sometimes we don't do that, because when it was found out that I had all of my exams done and it was year 2, my teachers were like, oh. One of them only was like, well, I don't know what we're going to do with you. What you mean, what you going to do with me? I'm going to be here for another year. So I want to float around. What they asked me was, so what do you want to do the second year? Y'all got me thinking about it now. It's so funny. I didn't know. I just knew. I knew that I wanted to use my second year. I'm not going to say I didn't know what I wanted to do. When they asked me, I did. I was just trying to figure out how to say it, because I knew one of these instructors was not feeling what I did at all. Was not feeling it at all. So, and they had more pull than anybody else. So I was like, and they already they weren't feeling me anyway. I wasn't their prize student, which I don't care. I'm paying my tuition like everybody else. I'm not here to make friends. And I'm passing on my class. I mean, I'm not a troublesome person, but I'm also a person that I'm paying to be here. You're not doing me a favor. And I'm a good student. I'm not bothering anybody. I just read the rules, and the rules didn't say I couldn't do what I wanted to do, right? And that's what I tell people. I was just on TikTok, and someone put their credentials. They just graduated, and I was so happy for them. But this is to my point. Why reading is so important, especially when you are trying to navigate your career in medical imaging. They use the credentials, their name, RT, and then RF, ARRT. There's no F. I was sitting there going, what is F? And so people in the comments start saying, what is F? Like, you put the T, the R, the CT, the MRI in parentheses. They had F in there. And I was like, what is F? Maybe it's something I don't know everything. So I went to ART's website. Well, someone asked them in the comments, what is the F? And people said, it must be fluoro. And I'm like, there's no F for fluoro that I know of. But what's changed? Let me go to ARRT, which is our credentialing board, who tells us, thank you. They are on my Amazon store. So I went to ARRT and there's no F. And I'm thinking, where did the F come from? Like, what am I missing? And everybody in the comments was thinking the same thing. What are they missing? And so I just nice and politely went to the comments, because I feel like we need to make sure we hold each other to a certain standard, and make sure we're not out there starting something and making people look at us like these people don't even know what their credentials are, or yeah, they just button pushers. We are trying to really make sure people know we are professionals. And the first part of that is knowing our credentials, y'all. There's no F according to the ARRT. So I just nice and politely went to the comments Because she said she did it because she saw somebody else do it. Y'all, we professionals here. We can't add no credentials. It was so cute and so funny though. That it was. I just giggled at it, but I did go in the comments and just say, if you go to the ARRT website and look under the credentials, I see you laugh. It is funny because you're so excited you passed. But when you start seeing other people just making up credentials and you say, well, so-and-so did it, now we start to look like some, folks that don't, they just button pushers. They don't even know their credentials. A simple thing, I'm telling y'all, the ARRT, the ASRT, they tell us, the JRCRT, they tell you what you're qualified to do. They tell you what your credentials are. Don't follow people. People will lead you down the wrong way. And for me, when I was adding my credentials, I didn't follow people. I did what was best for me. And for me, I was not a kid going to school. I didn't go out of high school. I was a grown woman, was married my second year, living on my own, broke as smoke. My husband needed to go back to school for radiology. So which that meant I had to do what I had to do. And what I had to do was the second year float through. So when my teachers asked me, so what do you want to do for the second year? Because you don't have any more exams to do. I said, well, I would like to float through every modality that I can. So that way I can figure out what it is I want to do. And I'm going in to get my pizza because I'm going to a pizza party right now. A pool party. And I've agreed to bring pizza. So y'all come into the pizza store with me. So what I did, I'm going to stop talking for a little bit because it's rude to be all up in places. Okay. So, hey, I'm picking up 2 pizzas. Sean? Yeah, thank you. Okay, so let's hit this pool party, and then I'll finish talking. Okay. Okay, let me put this pizza in here. Okay. Woo, it's hot out here, y'all. It is hot. Woo, it's hot. Okay. So, question was my purse because I got to get my key to drive, right? So yeah, so that's what I told him. I was like, I personally want to through all the clinicals around here, all these things. I mean, why can't I? And one of them was like, well, I don't really know if that's okay. We'll have to check and make sure the departments want you. Y'all, people would try to block you from your stuff all the time. But you know what I said? I mean, I'll just go do the same exams. But I had already gone to the CT department. I had already gone to the radiation therapy department because those were the 2, and ultrasound. I was already cool with some of the techs there. And I told them, I'm done with all my stuff. I went myself and was like, this is it. So they're going to come and ask you. They were like, girl, yeah, we'll love you in here. People want to see you succeed, y'all. Do not think that people don't want to. You might have one person that may try to hold you back, may try to block you, but don't pay them no attention. Take it upon yourself to, first of all, read the rules, read the policies, read the school policies, and make sure you're not breaking any rules so then they can stop you. If you're not doing that, the world is your oyster. And then you figure it out as you go along, and then as you figure it out, there are people there, like y'all following me. I'm here to tell you the stuff I messed up on. I still got a story to tell y'all that it's embarrassing, but it's a lesson. It's a lesson for everybody. I just got to get the courage. I need y'all to give me the courage to tell it. But it was a great lesson for me, and I know it will be for someone else. So I'm going to tell that one day. I just got to get the courage. I got to find the right time and the courage to do it. But yeah, that's how I got and so when I went my second year, I floated mostly through I realized early on I didn't like ultrasound. I couldn't see nothing on the screen. It was not for me. And then when I found out all those registries they have to take, oh child, no. And I'm not that good at physics. So that was a no for me. I maybe did like a week and I was done. Radiation therapy and MRI wouldn't let me in back then. They were like, oh no. They were kind of funny acting in MRI. So they were definitely a no. So I just moved on. CT and radiation therapy, I was in there. I was putting in IVs. Oh my goodness. They wanted me, and they were, interventional too. I'm sorry, I forgot about interventional. That's another one y'all sleeping on. That is another amazing modality that you can cross train into easily out of x-ray school. So yeah, so that's what I did. I rotated for the second year through all three of those, and I was offered a job in CT and in interventional. But I didn't take interventional because I didn't want to take all that call. CT was great for me, and it parlayed other stuff, and I didn't get into radiation therapy school. That's why I didn't do radiation therapy. I applied, never got in, so I moved on. Is it safe to start radiology programs at a community college? As long as the community college is accredited, the program, the institution is accredited, make sure the accreditation works with your state license, that your state license will accept that school's accreditation, and you're good, yeah. What do I like most about MRI? What do I like most about MRI? That's a good question. Oh, my phone getting hot. Sorry. I'm going to drive, so I'm just going to do sound right now. So I hope y'all can just listen, because I don't want to mess this up driving. So I'm going to just turn the camera off and do sound. So ask y'all questions. I just got to drive to my destination, but I'm going to be talking. So what do I like most about MRI? I like several things. I like the variety of things that I get to do in MRI. That's one thing I'll say. I do like the variety. You get great variety exams. People think it's boring or it's monotonous. It is not. MRI, over the years, I've been doing MRI since I think 2006 or 7, something like that. I don't remember how long I've been doing it, but I think it's been like 2006 or 2009. I can't remember, y'all, but it's been a while. And I have seen a lot of changes in MRI. It used to be, and it depends on what hospital you work at. That's the other thing. I like when I work at different hospitals doing MRI, because one hospital, I'm going to be doing like, bread and butter stuff, spines, knees. Another hospital, I may be doing, another place like an outpatient center, I'm doing all orthopedic stuff. All orthopedic stuff. Orthopedics, either you like it or you don't. Orthopedics is, MSK is going to be like your knees, your feet, your wrists, your humerus, bones, arms, joints, hips. And you don't just scan the hips. You actually have where the hips, sometimes people have a lot of metal in there, like knee replacements, hip replacements. When you're doing MSK and you have metal and you got to do an MRI, it's very challenging when you're working on an older scanner, and that older scanner doesn't have a specific software on it that allows you to null out the metal. That's one thing people don't really understand about MRI. Is MRI has nothing to do with radiation. Totally different principles than what we learn in school about radiology technology. It uses radio waves. And that's another thing that I like about MRI, but it can be a con if you went to school for radiology technology, because it's not the same things you learn in radiology technology school. What you learn in MRI school is a totally different principle. The physics is based off hydrogen molecules in a body. So, you get to see a lot of things. MRI, after doing CT for so long, I like the things that I see, because most people, when they come get an MRI, it's because you got something. CT, your abdomen just hurt or you got a headache. So we're taking some images to see why your head hurts or why your abdomen hurts. Versus MRI, we know that you have a cyst or a tumor, or this is going on. You have a blood clot. So we've got to do this MRI to get better detail. That makes sense? That's one of the reasons why, that's one of the reasons why I feel like MRI is and it's another con or pro, depending on what your mood is for the day. Sometimes I don't like to move fast. This is another reason why I like MRI. I get to sit down for at least 30 minutes per exam. CT, you do not sit down that long. CT, you are up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. MRI, you're not. So that can be a pro, it can be a con. Some people do not like to sit down that long. They're like going really nuts sitting down. So it really depends on, the person. There we go. It really depends on the person, what you like. So that could be a pro, that could be a con. Okay. It depends on the day of the week for me. Sometimes I'm happy I'm up and down. I feel like moving, grooving, moving all over the place. So CT is my jam that day. And then other days I'm tired, I'm drained. Like today, if I was working today, I would not want to be doing CT today. I'd rather be doing some MRIs where each exam takes at least 30 minutes. Or I got a bunch of abdomens all day, so that's at least 30 to 40 minutes depending. So it just kind of depends. I can't say I like one modality over the other. I do like the fact that I went to school for radiology technology, and I'm driving again, radiology technology, and I get options. I got options to what I want to do. I do not have to just do one thing. Like, I'm not just an MRI tech, which is nothing wrong with that. But on days like today where I don't feel like doing CT, hey, I got an option of doing MRI. Or if I want to go, I was talking to my coworker, she's a little burned out over CT, and she's like, I'm going to school for medical dosimetry. That's another one you don't have to go to radiology technology school for first. You can go to dosimetry school if you already have a bachelor's or something like that. So, and you don't have to be a radiation therapist to go in for it. But we can also go to school for that. We could take, if we have our bachelor's already, we could go to a master's program, or we could go to a bachelor's program for medical dosimetry. Everything is literally open. That is a pro, not a con. That is a pro of being a radiology technologist, is that you can go take a certificate program into radiation therapy because you already have your degree in radiology technology. You can take a 6-month certificate program or learn on the job MRI because you're already a radiology technologist. You don't have to go to a 2-year degree and start all over to become a radiology technologist. Those are all really good reasons, right? To being a radiology technologist. That is a pro. I really can't think of a lot of cons. Is there anything you regret doing or not doing during your career journey? I do regret not sticking in there and paying attention because I didn't read the news and stay up to date on the ASRT and the ARRT, what they were doing when it came to radiologist assistant. I wish I would have paid attention, because after 2016, you had to have a bachelor's degree to go over into that. I could have been grandfathered in because of being a radiology technologist into radiologist assistant. Yeah, that's why I tell y'all, read for yourself, because nobody told me. Nobody said, girl, you could be a radiologist assistant if you go ahead and apply to this particular program's radiologist assistant program, because in 2016 they're gonna cut it down. I didn't have nobody, because the people I knew didn't know. Sometimes you're in circles of people that don't know any more than what you know. And that's why another thing I encourage is networking. Because if you work at the same place you went to school at, you only know the techs where you live at, you only know people where you live at, you're missing out on a whole bubble of individuals in our profession who could clue you in to advancing in our profession without having to go back to school for radiology technology, or without having to do something that might cost you a lot of money. Like, I feel like I missed out on that, but I'm not upset about it or anything like that. I don't feel like it's a career-ending bad decision or a missed opportunity that ends my career at all. I've had a great opportunity of doing things in the profession because I try to keep my ear to the ground. I try to network. I try to, really stay up on things when it comes to radiology and medical imaging the best that I can. But yeah, I do feel like I missed out on that one. So that's why I always caution people to stay up on the news on the ARRT, because if it's happening, it's on there. If it's coming up, it's on there. You just have to read it for yourself, if that makes sense. And many people don't read those little things sometimes, and that's how you miss out. Another positive about being a radiology technologist is when it comes to like PACs or other things that really help. I've seen jobs that say, because you're we want to hire for this, say, informatics job or this particular whatever job it is, board member job, but they only want someone who has mammography experience. I saw a board of directors for a big cancer center. They wanted they wanted the director. This is a $300,000 a year job, y'all. $300,000 a year job. But you know what the required thing was? Not a suggested, not a we would like, but a requirement was that you had to be a mammography technologist, which meant you had to go to school for radiology technology first. That's huge. That is really huge, and why I say don't sleep on modalities like mammography, radiology technology. Sometimes people just want to skip radiology technology and say, I don't want to do x-rays. That's some valuable experience and a valuable profession to have on your resume, because it allows you to know the basics that some corporations, when you're looking to be project manager, when you're looking to really move up to director level and project management level, VP level, it just opens up things for you that otherwise wouldn't be open to you. Oh, light's about to change. Can I go straight into radiation therapy certificate program right after graduating from rad tech school? Yeah, you sure can. You sure can. So to be a radiation therapist is, if you start from radiology technology first, and then you decide, I want to go to radiation therapy, you have to apply to the program. So that's the thing. Applying to the program is a whole nother thing. Not all radiation therapy programs are easy to get into. That is one thing I would say. And there are not a lot of radiation therapy programs out there. So that's the other caveat to that. But I would say apply to as many as you can that you reasonably can go to. And then once you apply to it, as soon as you get your ARRT or you're able to sit for it, once you get that RT, you can apply to a certificate radiation therapy program. You do not have to go to a bachelor's radiation therapy program, but a certificate program will serve you just fine if you already have your radiologic technology degree and are ARRT credentialed. So I hope that's helpful. But I think, you can go to any certification right after graduating and sitting for your registry. As long as you have proof that you are an ARRT credentialed technologist, the school will accept you. And if you can get in, that's great. I don't think you have to wait, but this is the thing. Some people tell you you have to be a rad tech for a few years. They just won't accept you. People say anything. I see people on social media saying that our careers is not one that you can grow in. They've been in it 20 years and they make pennies. My question is, why are you still in it if you only make pennies? I don't get it. Because I'm going to tell you, I was driving trucks and I was tired of making no money and working hard and driving them trucks. So you know what I did? I went to school for radiology technology. That's what I did. So that's what I would tell anybody else to do, is look at that. Don't just listen to people, because people don't know what they're talking about, and sometimes they want you not to get what they've got. Okay, I'm at the pool party. Let's see what other questions there are. Straight into mammography training. Yeah, you could go into any training. You do not have to wait. Thank you, because I'm 35, don't have time to wait, would have to get certification. Yeah, 35 is young. Look, I'm still thinking about getting me some more certifications. So you do not have to wait on nobody or think that you're too old to get. No, you got time. And the certification doesn't take but a few months, if that, maybe a year. Let's see. I've been searching and haven't found anything. Are there any hybrid schools, she said. With healthcare programs, legitimate hybrid programs, I don't know. You got to kind of look at legitimacy of things. Not every program is legitimate just because it's hybrid, and it's not always going to serve you. Ooh, my pizza almost open. It's not always going to serve you the right way too. So I would be very careful about that. Let me see where I take the food. I think over here. Okay. So I would be very careful about hybrid programs. Make sure that those hybrid programs are going to actually will let you get a job in your state. Okay. So that's what I would think about, is making sure that you can get a job in your state first. Hey, what's going on? Good. How you doing? Making sure you can get a job in your state first. That's going to be very important, because not all hybrid programs are. I don't know. Hey, how you doing? I don't know if you saw the video I did on accreditation. That's what's important, is different type of accreditations. You're gonna have institution accreditations, and you have programmatic accreditations. That's gonna be totally different. Let's see. Trying to make sure the pizza. There we go. There we go. Perfect. You got programmatic and you got informational. Hey, what's up, y'all? Hey, what's going on? Let me go move my car. You got programmatic and you got instructional programs. So you got to be careful which ones you have, because some of. Hey. Hold on, okay. Say that again.
Is your brother Ian?
Yeah.
Oscar. I met you.
Yeah, what's going on? How are you? Yeah, good. I think I met you and your wife at
Yeah, my wife's over there.
Yeah, I was standing with y'all at assembly. Yeah. How you doing? Hold on, y'all.
Okay.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
How's your brother?
He doing good. He was just up here not long ago. He came up for a second. Yeah. I can't remember the boy he saw. It was hey, what's up, Golden? I can't remember the boy he saw, but it was somebody good that y'all do.
Your brother.
Yeah, he's still down there in Florida. His daughter about 6. Yeah, she about 6. He'll be back up here again. I have to tell him. Yeah, he on Facebook. You on Facebook?
Barely. What kind of phone you got?
iPhone.
Why you here, call her.
Candy, my sister. The girl who having the pool party. That's my sister.
Really?
Yeah. So get her. She got his number too. So get my number from her. I used to work with your daddy at FedEx too.
Yeah.
Yeah. How your daddy doing?
He's doing good.
Good. Tell him I said hey.
I do that.
Yeah. Tell him I said hey. I'm about to go home. I'm so hot.
I understand.
I was so hot. I might come back later.
Okay.
But I gotta go cool off. I just took my cousin to the
gotta
airport.
do.
I'm tired.
Do what you gotta do.
I'm gonna go home, cool off for a second, but I may be back.
Okay. It's good.
Okay. I'll see you.
All right.
Okay. So so that is what I said. Sorry, y'all. I can't even. It's too hot out here for me to see the questions. Hold on 1 second. It's too hot for me to see the questions. Let me get out of the sun. What's up, Wendy?
How you doing?
What's going on? I saw you from a distance, but I couldn't see you that far. Yeah, what's going on, Miranda? Good. Girl, how you doing?
I'm good.
Where
girl.
Kimberly at?
She's at.
Oh, she in the pool. Oh, child, it's too hot. It's somebody
It's
kick
hot.
my butt.
It
Yeah,
is, right.
somebody kick my butt.
I know.
I'm still
It is.
recuperating from yesterday. How you been?
I'm pretty good.
You look the
Taking-
same.
You too, girl. I always see you on social media.
Yes.
I was like,
If you're on there, you'll see me. If you're on my page, you'll see me.
Exactly.
I'm on right now. Hold on, y'all. Be back. I can't see me. So I can't see y'all questions in the sun. Let me get in my car. I'll see it.
Oh, okay.
What's going on though?
Girl, just working.
Yeah. You on Buckhead? You on Buckhead?
Sandy Springs.
Sandy Springs. That's what it is. I know it's somewhere up there.
Yeah, Brian and them were in Buckhead too before they went to India.
Yeah, but they back now. We just saw the
Yeah.
Courage the other week. We was out in Conyers. We just saw the Courage the other week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
back. They're moving to Noonan though.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I didn't think they was ever gonna come back from India.
Oh yeah, they only went for a year.
Yeah, I thought they was gonna
a
stay.
struggle bus. It was a struggle bus.
Yeah,
I'm
it's-
glad they back. I'm glad they.
Look, Brian would have stayed if he could.
Yeah, right. He was ready to come.
Was he? Okay, so let's see. Let me see if I can see the rest of these. Ooh, it's hard to see these questions. Let me see the rest of these questions. What's up, Treva?
Hey.
How are you?
Good.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Hey, how are you? Hey, how you doing? Hello. What's going on? Hello. Oh, y'all blowing up y'all stuff. Flip over. Flip. What? You keep going. Uh-oh. I know. You want to flip. Get it. I got, what's up, KK? What's up, Levi? Okay, you gonna flip the other way? You gonna flip? Where's your booger booger? Where's your booger booger? What's up, booger booger? Y'all see the little hands? All right. See the little hands? He's sitting up better. You want him eating that string? You want him eating that string? Or you don't care? Oh, okay. She don't care.
It's new though.
Okay, she don't care. Let me put him back down there so he can flip. What's up, Levi? What's up? What's up? Oh.
All right, let's see.
It don't hurt. You just flip back a little.
He might hit his shoe. Did he hit his shoe?
No, he just hit his little head on the
He
back.
hit his head left.
I know, that's why I was like, it shouldn't hurt.
So he
Yeah.
must have hit it hard.
I think he just tired.
Uh,
Well, I'm going to cool off. I'm hot. I may have to go pick my cousin up from the airport. I'm going to go cool off. I might be back when the sun come down. Kim, I had to take them. They're going to Scotland. So I think they're going to get on there. If they don't get on
they
there.
went a buddy pass?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
gotcha.
it was weather last night. So the plane said nobody getting on. But then they opened up to 16 seats. So I'm going to check to see.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, booger booger. Get in the pool. Have a good time. What?
This belongs to the baby.
Oh, that's the babies.
So
Oh.
back it up.
I'm like, why they can't get
Thank
in
you.
it?
No, because they want to take over everything. They always want to take over everything, yes.
So then he put this on.
I know.
What you. You gonna eat your finger? You gonna be hungry and tired after all that sun, honey. It's hot out there. Y'all enjoy. I'm gonna go cool off. I'll be back when the sun go down. I put the pizza out there already. Or did you want it in here?
I don't know, child. It's fine.
Hey, Golden. What's up, Andrew? The pizza already out there. Thank you. Oh, it's okay out there. Okay, it's on the table. It's 2 extra larges. I started to bring them in. Whew, it's hot. Okay, let's get back in the car where I can see. Oh, whoa, it's hot. Oh, my key. Y'all are so patient. You're 35. Okay, I don't think 35 is. I was in my mid-20s, close to mid-20s. And my husband was in his late 20s when he went to school for radiology. So I don't think that's actually old or anything like that. I don't think it is. So, I mean, it just depends. It just depends, but I don't think it's old. I think sometimes it's a benefit to you getting into a program for radiologic technology when you are you're not 18. I'll say that. I won't even say that's old because I don't think 35 or 40 is old. I think you're in the prime of your life where you have done other things and you realize, I want to try this and I'm excited. You've done the look around, the research. Most people at that age know what they want to do. And they're not going to mess around when it comes to radiologic technology, investing and paying for a program, 2 years of their life, 2 years of their time. I know that's how I was when I was going back to school. And I think that's what drove me to get my second year to get everything done, but my first year was the fact that I knew I did not have any other options. I could not mess around with this time that I had to go back to school for radiologic technology. I knew this was it. I had to show up. I had to give it my all because there was nobody there to bail me out. I didn't have another chance. I had lived on my own. I had bills. I got married while I was in school for radiology, y'all. I don't know why I did that my second year. Not advisable because that's in itself is taking on a whole lot. And then you're talking about being in school for radiology technology, a new career, a new, navigating that world and being newly married. Whew, I don't know what I was thinking. But I will say, when you are older and going back to school for just say radiology, I think it looks good because it shows that it takes a lot of courage to do something like that. It takes a lot of most people have children by that time. Most people have been living on multiple incomes, and now their income is going down to one income from two incomes, and they don't have another shot at this. They got to do it. And the program is like, this person is going to stick with it, because what programs need is people that are going to stick with it. If you go to school in one state, can you get a certification training in another one? So when it comes to radiologic technology, going to school in any state, it doesn't matter what state you go to school in. What matters is two things. Is your program accredited? That's number one. Make sure the program is accredited, and make sure the curriculum is accredited. Those are two different things. If you haven't seen my video on different types of accreditation, that's important. Check out that video that really breaks down institution and programmatic accreditation, which I think I didn't know, and a lot of people don't know. You know, a lot of people just don't know the differences in that, but there's a huge difference. I promised at the end of this video to explain to you all that there, but I'm not in a place where I can show it to you, because when I tell you this is a place you cannot work unless you go to a JRCERT program. And it's funny because the person that I know said that they went to get a job at this place, and the place asked them for their degree. They wanted to make sure that this school that this person went to for radiology technology, that the school this person went to for radiology technology was a actual school that was JRCERT accredited. And this person was like, I've never been asked that before. I was like, yeah, me either. But this particular place, and I want to show you all the screen so you know I'm not saying this. This is actually on the website of this company, that you have to attend a certain the JRCERT program. Let's see, if you go to a school, say in Kentucky, can you work in New York? Can you work in North Carolina? It doesn't matter the school you go to, as long as the school follows the ARRT curriculum and the school has accreditation. You get your ARRT, you can work in any hospital. Now, every state is different. Every state can be, some states are licensure, which means you have to have a state license first in order to work there. And some states do not require a license. So that's where the state stuff comes in. When it comes to your school, it doesn't really matter. The state licensure determines whether you can work in their hospital, in their state or not, right? So if you went to a school that has an accreditation and that state says, and you get your ART and that state says, well, you need to go to a JRCERT program in order to get a license in our state, in order to work in hospitals and facilities like that, then that's what the state requires. And that's what the state is saying. It doesn't matter what the ART says. Each state, California, like I have a California's license. I had a New York license. I had a New Jersey license. I had a Texas. I've had multiple state licenses, and all of the requirements were different. Florida and California required the most from me beyond just my ARRT and my college degree. They required some extra classes to take in order to hold that Florida radiology license. So again, the state tells you what they accept and what they won't accept. ARRT does not control what the state says. I see a lot of people say, well, I have my ARRT, why can I not work in this state? Because the state says so. The state trumps everything. When you hold licenses in different states, they decide what they require of each person. So that's why it's important. If you know, I want to live in, because you to work. And I'm just giving a hypothetical. So that's why I definitely say know what the school requires before you do that. Okay? So that is very important. Let's see. I'm going to a red light now so I can turn my camera on. Trying to turn my camera on for y'all to answer these questions, but my camera won't turn on. There we go. Okay. There's my camera. Okay. So let's see. I'm trying to see. It's so okay. Sorry, y'all. Somebody's calling me while I'm doing this. Sorry, y'all. Somebody's trying to call me while I was doing that. Okay. I hope y'all. Sorry, y'all. Somebody's trying to call me while I was doing that. Okay. I hope y'all can still hear me. My apologies. I can't turn my phone off for people not calling me, and I couldn't seem to stop it. But anyway, so yeah, so those are a few of my pros, my cons. I hope this is helpful to you guys. And if you have any questions, other than what I've answered, let me know. I'm trying to think of stuff off the cuff. You guys have really good questions. Mainly, should you apply if you're in your 30s and 40s? My answer is yes. The pros, again, are that you are solid in what you want to do. It shows a lot of courage that you chose to go back to school at that age. With all that family responsibility, with, so much going on, you are still saying, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to tough out these 2 years. And the school loves it when they have people that are dedicated and focused on their program, not people who are like, I don't know, I'm not sure, I think I want to do this because it's trendy on social media. That's not a reason to go to school for radiology technology. And the schools don't want that, because you block up a spot. And if they have 10 people in their program and only 2 graduate, they're going to start getting their accreditation looked at. It's not okay. And that's why schools are so picky, and they have to be very picky, because they got to figure out, what is this person's real reason for wanting to be in this program? Will this person really stick to it? They have to be able to make sure they're answering that question and making sure that individuals are not just taking a spot and blocking someone else who really could use it, and helping the program out as well. The program needs to graduate a certain amount of people that they take into the program. They can't just consistently have numbers like that, where you got 100 coming in and only 2 graduating out. Those are really bad numbers for a program's accreditation. Back on camera. This is channel most likely popped up because I just found out I have a skull bone tumor. Oh my goodness. Love the family vibe. Oh my goodness, my family is calling me. I took one of my family members to the airport, so they're going international. I'm like, get on the plane. Stop calling me. Get on the plane. But anyway, let's see. Wait, I just got married in the last year and applying this fall. I didn't think it would affect that. You mentioned you got married when you started. Yes. Was it hard for you and your husband? It wasn't hard. Mac Reviews. I got married my second year of radiology technology school. It was a challenge to balance the pressure of being a grown person in school, not having money, as a newly married couple. That was kind of tough, being broke, trying to go to school, because we knew that where it would lead to later, we knew it would be a blessing later, but it was hard, trying to balance going to school and knowing you need to work. And now it's 2 people. Fortunately, my husband took care of everything. I hats off to him. I appreciate him so much. But studying, trying to carve out time to study and carve out time in a new marriage and other things, and I was working as a student tech at the time, like just on the weekends. So that was the time he works Monday through Friday. Now I got to work on Saturday. I'm in school Monday through Friday. You figure it out. But to me, Yeah, it was a lot, but we got through it. Could I talk more about interventional radiology? I've never worked in it. I rotated my second year through interventional and got offered a job there. I enjoyed it so much. Everybody I know that's an interventional technologist, they love it. They absolutely, hands down, are happy they do it. They make great money. It's one that you can learn on the job. You do not have to go to school for it as of now. They're trying to change that. But you do get your certification by the ART, which is good. I believe that if you're in a modality, immediately get your credentials. Don't wait. Don't get comfortable doing it, because then you're going to struggle to pass and you're not going to see the urgency. And then the other part of that is what I try to tell people is when you don't have your credentials in something, and yeah, you're still working at this place, they'll let you work there. You'll never get the pay jump that you deserve. You'll never be able to leave because you got to have your certification and go somewhere else and work in that specialty. You'll always have to work there. And that's where I see people get bitter, get burned out, and just, oh, I hate what I do. I hate this. And that's not the case. You have to get your certifications when you're doing other modalities. Don't let anybody tell you. So this is my history of what I know. When I first came into the profession, a lot of people did a lot of specialties and they didn't have certifications. Back in the day, you didn't really have to have them. You could just pay for them and have these letters behind your name. So I knew technologists, men that had M behind their, M as in Mary behind their name, mammography. They never did a mammogram in their life. You didn't have to do clinicals in order to get a certain amount of clinicals, then sit forward with the ART. You could just pay the money, take the test. If you pass the test, you're credentialed. Well, they changed that right when I graduated. So now you got to get your clinical hours first and then take the exam. They cut back on everybody adding all these letters behind their name. So if you see a man with an M behind his credential, you probably know he got it when he just had to pay for it, right? Okay. But not all, but just, I'm just saying. So now you have to actually do the exams to show proficiency in them, even if you are RTR, in order to get those other certifications. The benefit to that is making sure that people who are doing the exams are certified in them. They are individuals who know how to do them, and they have to keep up their credentials by taking CEUs and other things like that, right? So that's what I would just say. But when they changed that law and said that you had a year or so to get certified or you weren't going to be able to stay in that modality, people were dropping like flies, y'all. They couldn't pass the registry, even though they had been doing stuff for years. And they were going back to x-ray because they couldn't stay in that job because they couldn't get certification on the ART. And some just were like, I'm just going to retire out. I'm not sitting for it. That is one of the reasons why I say when you first cross over into another modality, it's fresh in your brain, I would get my registry. At least take it to see. You got 3 times to take it. At least take it to see where you're at. And then you might surprise yourself and actually pass. And then you could say, you know what? I really want to go somewhere else and work. I really want to be a travel tech in this modality and make more money. Fear holds a lot of people back from actually doing something that they probably are really good at. If I would have told people that I wanted to get all my clinicals done in 1 year, when the school gives you 2 years, I know there would have been people that would have said, there's no way you could get all this done in 1 year. That's why they give us 2 years. There's no way. And they would have tried to dissuade me because in their minds, they didn't see it. I'll be honest, in my mind, I didn't know if I could do it or not, but why not try? Now they've changed the rules. You can't do that. You can't get all your stuff in one spell swoop. But sometimes you just got to do stuff. Don't let everybody in on it. Just do it. Interventional radiology is like cath lab. When people have blood clots, people need ports put in, vascular stuff where they go in and clear out blockages, open up vessels, put in stents. So people who have strokes or about to have a stroke, they can open up so the blood can get through. It's basically a vascular radiology. They do live x-ray where the radiologist and the technologist and nurses and PAs work together. And it's usually emergency stuff or scheduled studies where people get PICC lines, ports, things like that, put in an interventional live fluoro. It's not the surgery department, but it is a sterile field kind of mini surgery area for vascular stuff only. It is really amazing. You're on call a lot because people have strokes, and just think people have blockages just out of the blue, and they have to get them unblocked. Have you ever had doubts when starting your career journey? And if so, how do you keep yourself motivated? That's a good question. I have doubts all the time. I still have doubts because I feel like I have so many more years left to work. And I had doubts going into radiology school because I initially started out in respiratory. And like I said, I was an adult going back. But I just had to push. First of all, I don't tell everybody my business. I know I'm on social media, but talking about I don't tell everybody my business. I don't be on here telling my business. But when I'm doing something that I'm fearful about, I definitely don't let people in on it. Like, take, for instance, me writing a children's book. Nobody knew I was writing that children's book. Nobody but my family. And not all of my family knew. My close family, like a couple of my family members that were teachers, because I had their input on teachers for elementary students. I needed them to tell me stuff. Thank y'all for the likes. Thank y'all for the questions, too. It was my mom, my brother, because their children the kids in the book are written about my nieces and nephews. So those, of course, the parents knew that I was making sure it was okay to use their kid's name in the book and their, them. So they knew, and my husband. Other than that, nobody else in my family knew. I didn't want to hear, oh, the character looks like this. Oh, why are you doing that? Nobody's going to want to read a radiology book. When I got on social media to talk about radiology, I was talking about health and wellness first. That's what my podcast was about, was health and wellness. And my podcast was doing good. I was consistent. It was doing good. But it did even better when I listened to someone who had nothing to do with radiology. This gentleman with iHeartRadio told me, I feel like your segments on radiology doing your podcast would do even better if you spoke from your heart, your experience about radiology. And I was like, I don't know. There are already radiology podcasts out there. And he was like, yeah, but it's a bunch of guys just talking about science and the radiology science and how to be this kind of technologist or as radiologist. He was like, I'll be honest with you. I know nothing about what you do, but I would never listen to any of those podcasts. He said, but if you talked about X, Y, Z, me not being in your field, I would listen to that. And I said, that's what you got to do. If you do tell people certain things that you already doubt, you got to make sure it's the right people. The people that are going to say, I don't understand what you're talking about, but if you believe it, I'm here to support you, and you're going to do just fine. Whether it does well or fail or not, I'm going to encourage you to do it, because nobody knows if stuff going to work. Michael Jordan didn't know he was going to be Michael Jordan. Kobe Bryant didn't know he was going to be Kobe Bryant. But it didn't stop them. Bill Gates didn't know. Jeff Bezos didn't know selling books out his garage was going to be Amazon. You cannot you can't clue everybody in on what you're doing, because half the time you don't know what you're doing. But you know who you are and you know what you want. And for me, I knew I didn't want to drive trucks. I had a good job at FedEx. I got off at a good time. I have full benefits, excellent health benefits, excellent stock, excellent 401k. I even have flight benefits, cruise benefits, because FedEx is an airline. I could fly. I could get on cruises for discounted rates. Like, I had a good job by all accounts. But I could not see myself on that hop behind truck in that uniform for the rest of my life. I just couldn't. Now, I probably could have moved up, but I didn't want to be in management. I did not. And so I had to do something about it. And that meant doing something that nobody knew what it was. I didn't know what radiologic technology was. So that's why I say, and when I went back to school for radiology, nobody knew but my mama and my daddy and my brother and my sister. And that I didn't tell anybody that I was choosing to go. So I had an option to go to 4 schools that I applied to at the time. We have more now around us. But back then, there was only 4 that I applied to that I knew were close enough for me to drive to. One of them was a private university, Emory University, School of Medicine's medical imaging program. They accepted me. So did a hospital-based program. One was cheaper than the other one. if I would have told people that I chose a private university, why would you do that for a 2-year degree? You could have got it for cheaper. I get those comments now in my post where people go, that was stupid for going to a private school. You paid way more than you needed to. Sometimes, y'all, people just want to hate on you because they didn't get the opportunity to do it. That is why you got to be, that's how you keep yourself motivated. Be careful who you tell stuff and be okay with just keeping stuff to yourself or finding those close people that are going to encourage you, whether they agree or not. And that's the thing. You don't have to agree with people to cheer them on. But you got to recognize who those people are. Because if you already doubt yourself, you don't need somebody else saying, girl, I don't think you could, I don't think that's a good decision. And when my husband went back to school for radiology, he struggled with not working that first year. And I was like, look, we got this. We got this. But my husband's never not worked. And for a man not to work and you got a family, he was like concerned with what people's going to say. And I was like, we didn't tell nobody. I think his parents and my parents and siblings were the only people that knew. Other than that, everybody else stayed out of business. And when they did find out, they were like, girl, I would have never. Only a few people said this. Because I don't have friends like that. I'm not saying I don't know people like that, but I don't have friends like that. But I did have people say, girl, I would have never had my husband not work and put him through school. What? That's on you. I'm good. I have no problem doing it. It's for the betterment of my family. And I don't need to explain anything to anybody. And when you get to that point in your life where you do what you need to do for you, you don't care what nobody else say, that's going to keep you motivated. Like, I don't care. I don't care what people think. I don't. I hope people think what good of me, but I don't care if they don't. And I think that comes with age and just being clear with why you do stuff. I know why I do stuff. Anything I do, I have a reason for why I do it. I just know it comes from a good place. And if people don't see that or they don't, that's something else. I have nothing to prove to anybody. And I think when you get to that point, that's going to motivate you to do what's best for you long term, no matter what nobody thinks. Because I can live with a decision that goes wrong because it was my decision, and I can live with a decision that goes great because it was my decision. And that's what I would tell you. Just block other people out and have the right people in your corner. Let's see. I'm from India. My working experience is not from NABH certified hospitals. Will there be an issue in? So Amar, we don't have, I don't know what an NABH and an HCPC registration is. We don't have that in the US. Sorry. Is there any experience that you had where you have made the right, is there an experience that you had where you knew you made the right career choice? I'm going to say it's been many. But, okay. So this is, right now, when I look at the competitiveness of getting in radiology programs, I know I made the right career choice. When I've had jobs where they were very toxic, I was able to leave and go get another job without a problem and still be able to take care of myself and my family. And say, like, that to me shows me I made a good career choice, because when I was driving trucks, I remember, this was the motivating force to make sure I did not second guess myself going back to school for radiology. We were all at the warehouse getting ready to leave, and one driver got in a wreck as soon as we left the place, hit something. He wasn't paying attention. Wrecked the truck. He was glass all in his face. He was messed up. Like, what I thought the manager should have done was call the paramedics immediately and get this man some help. Instead, these horrible managers, in front of everybody, because they called us all back, all the trucks had to turn around because it was a bad accident. We had to turn around and come back, and they had to account for everybody, make sure everybody's okay, because it was like 2 trucks hit each other or something, I forget. But one driver was badly hurt, and the one that was badly hurt had evidently a bad a back and forth with the manager. The manager was awful. The managers were bullies and awful. And they like to embarrass these grown men and grown people. And they had inappropriate relationships with the women, you know, and people did what they had to do to keep their job. Like, it was some shady stuff going on. And I just kept my distance. I just went to work and went home. I didn't hang with anybody. I just wasn't doing that because I knew what it was going on in that warehouse. And I remember that guy on his knees begging for his job with glass all in his face, just messed up from this accident. He literally went through the truck's window. And this manager in front of everybody embarrassing this grown man, making him beg, and people laughing. Adults. These are all adults, y'all. I was the youngest person working at that time. Everybody's grown. That solidified to me that having a skill with a degree, with some kind of paper behind my name, going to radiology technology school was the best thing I had ever done. And I'll never forget that he was begging, I got children, don't fire me, please. Now, he should have been in the paramedics ambulance right then, getting treated, not begging for his job and being laughed at by everybody. He wasn't fired, because they couldn't fire him, but, I mean, they could have, but it was just really disgusting. And that said to me, this is not somewhere that I want to work, because the slightest mistake I make, this could happen to me. And I just feel like no human being should be degraded like that, even if they are in a situation where you have power over them. It put a really bad taste in my mouth and opened my eyes, though, to the fact that take your butt to school, girl. Take your butt to school. So that way, when you do have something like this happen, you can go to another job, another hospital. So that's why I say, go to school, get your piece of paper. When I saw that was a clear sign to me. And get this. After that happened, because I didn't care for any of the managers. After that happened, one of the managers who wasn't very nice to me, it was my last day at work, driving trucks. And he came to me and pulled me to the side. He said, I just want to tell you, I'm very proud of you. Now, this man was nasty to me the entire year I worked there to save up money to go to school. Because I drove trucks to save money so I could afford school, because I knew I wouldn't be able to work for a year. That man told me, he said, I just want to tell you, I'm very proud of you. Very proud of you. And I hope you never, ever come back to this place. And I said, wow, I was shocked. And he was genuine, y'all. Man had been so nasty to me. Oh my, he made it so hard for me to work there. He wasn't the only one. But he was trying to fit in with the rest of them. But that's what he said. He patted me on the shoulder and walked off. He did this. I just stood there like, shocked he was talking to me, but I could see in his face he was very happy for me and proud of me. And if he had the opportunity to do what I was doing, he would do it. But he didn't have the courage nor the circumstances to be able to leave that job. That's all he had been doing since he was 18. Most of those people had been there since they were 18. And for me, that tells me I am blessed with the ability to take care of myself with a skill where I can go anywhere pretty much and get a job. Everybody can't say that. So when I see people, talking, I know it's all about trendiness and getting likes and stuff, but I'm gonna tell you, I have no complaints about being a medical imaging multimodality technologist. I do not. I don't care if the ER send me 50 patients at one time. I can only do one at a time. You ain't gonna see me complaining. I'm not gonna argue with no doctor. I just was at work the other day, and I had to scan this body part how I had to scan it. Thank you so much. I had to scan it. It was not the prettiest body part, but I got him what he needed to see, what the radiologist needed to see. It was a fracture in the bone. They casted the person really horribly at the urgent care center, and I couldn't fit him in a coil that gave good signal, so I had to use a flex coil. And I didn't write it on the paper to tell the radiologist. This is why the image is a little grainy. I apologize. I think common sense, you should know your techs do the best they can, but I should have communicated it. I didn't. Okay. He's the kind that just want to fuss. Fortunately, the manager was sitting right next to me, and he wanted to fuss. He called. I picked up the phone. I had already told her about this body part that was probably going to get a ding to me, but I knew I got all the anatomy in there, and I knew he could see there was a fracture or not a fracture. I gave him what he needed. It wasn't the prettiest picture, but you got what you needed, right? That's all that should count. And she says, she's sitting there, and then the phone rings. I said, oh, that's Dr. So-and-so. Let me pick it up. Let him talk to me. I'm the one that did it. I have no problem telling a doctor why I did so. I know why I did it. I'm just not pushing buttons. I get the phone, and he says, who did this? Da-da-da-da-da. I said, I did. What did you scan it on? It's horrible. I said, and I explained to him why I had to use the flex coil. And he said, well, you could have written that down. I said, you're right. I could have written that down. You're exactly right. And he just got quiet. Everybody got quiet because they used to him fussing. And see, I'm just the kind of person, I'm grown. There's no need for a doctor or anybody to talk to people any kind of way. I'm grown. I don't talk to you like that. I'm not going to take you talking to me like that. Even if I am wrong, there is a way to tell me that my scan was not appropriate for what you want. But did I not get you what you needed to be able to read it and read it accurately? So that's what he said. He said, well, I just would appreciate if you wrote it on the paper why you did it on the flag. I said, you're right. And next time I'll be sure I write it on there. That was my fault. I didn't write it on there. I said, but did I get you what you needed? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I could see clearly it was no such and such fracture. I said, okay, good. Like, why you couldn't just say, I wish you would write it on here next time, but thank you for getting me the anatomy that you got me so I could read this accurately and the patient doesn't have to come back. Not the clearest of everything else, but it's obvious you couldn't use the coil that most people use for a body part like this for some reason. Could you tell me the reason? It's all in, to me, there's never a need for a doctor or anybody, co-workers, managers, anybody talk to anybody outside of their neck. And I am just that tech that's like, I'm not going to argue with you, but you're not going to talk to me any kind of way. But if I need coaching, coach me. But you don't have to degrade me. And I think that comes from, being confident in what I can and what I can't do. As techs out there, I'm not saying I'm the best tech, but I know why I do what I do. If I don't know, I'm going to ask. And if I did it, it's because I thought it was right. But you're not going to talk to me any kind of way. And I feel like I just did a video on that. Respect, even to technologists, to radiology students, is a requirement. You do not need to talk to people any kind of way just because you feel you have the power to. And this goes for students setting boundaries for themselves from day one. I truly believe that's one thing I wish I would have done as a radiology technology student in only a certain place, because I had a good experience when I was in school. I had good techs I worked with. I can only count 2 that were butts. And one of them, we did get into it. Got all the way into it. I got a video that's in my drafts. I got to post it. But yeah, we got all the way into it. All the way. I thought she was going to try to hit me. So yeah, I was planning on us tussling. But because she was hot at me for, I don't even know why. She just didn't get from me what she wanted. She thought I was going to turn around and get huffy puffy with her back. Like, I don't argue. I am not going to fight you. I'm not going to argue with you, but I will protect myself. You just don't need to know how I'm going to protect myself. But you're not going to bully me. I will speak up for myself, or I'm going to ignore you. And I find ignoring people makes them angry, y'all. But that's a way of setting boundaries too. I don't argue with people. You're not going to get me emotionally unstable so you can get me to say something I regret later. I find that when people are at you as a student like that, get up, remove yourself, go tell the manager and tell your clinical instructor. Remove yourself from the seat. Don't argue back with them. Just get up and remove yourself. I didn't have nowhere to go, so I couldn't remove myself. I'll tell y'all the story later. I got a video on my drafts. I need to go ahead and post it. But yeah, that's what I just say. There's never a need. So Miss X-Ray Tech, hey, great channel. Thank you so much. How do the techs do who repair the MRI machine? So we don't repair it. That's an engineer. Engineers actually do all the maintenance on the scanners. We don't do any of that. Financially, that is. Okay, well, let me ask that question. How do the techs do who repair the machine? Oh, you're talking about how much? Oh, financially. Oh, so those are engineers. They make great money. But you're on call, you travel a lot, depending on who you work for. But you make great money. Yeah, you make great money. I don't know how much they make, but I know they make great money, y'all. But that's not something we do, so I don't really know about that. But yeah, I just did a couple videos on that, so be sure to check out those videos. I cannot believe I've been on this live for 79 minutes. Oh my goodness. This is the longest I've ever been on a live. I hope y'all are enjoying it. I need some water. When I was shadowing at a hospital, one of the techs said when they're in or doctors yell at them, they shocked me. Yeah. I don't like the OR. It's too cold. But I'm just not an OR kind of person. I feel that the OR men do better in the OR. I feel they're more respected in the OR. Those surgeons can be a piece of work. I haven't been in the OR in a while. And back when I was in OR, they didn't have all the hostile work environment policies that they have now. And my experience as a student in the OR, I didn't really care for a couple of the surgeons. And one of them did. He slapped the instruments out of the surgical tech's hand and knocked the whole tray over because he didn't like the way she was handing him the instrument. I was like, this jerk. Now, I was the student tech helping the tech operate the thing, and I was just like, this is ridiculous. And she's crying, the surgical tech crying, and he's calling her out her name. It was awful, y'all. That video circling around of that surgeon cussing out that nurse and stuff, and she was going back. That is real life. That was a surgery center. Now, this was at a hospital. So he decided, after he did that to her, when we started back, he decided he didn't like how slow I was. He knew I was a student. The male was the x-ray tech, so he didn't bother him, but he knew I was a student. So he decided to scream at me and call me out my name. I pulled my mask down as a student, yes. And I let him know, oh, no, you will not. I'm grown. Student or not, I'm grown. I got out of there. I immediately went upstairs because he has a boss. That's one thing I do know. Everybody got a boss. Everybody got a boss, even the doctors. And you can file complaints against them. Don't, even as a student. Yes, you can. So I went to the manager. I said, I want to file a complaint. Back then, they didn't have the harassment policy and stuff they have now. And she was like, well, what happened? And I had there was a good manager in this department. And she heard my complaint. She listened to me. And she said, we're just going to keep you out the OR, right? I was hot as fire. Because you don't call me out my name just because you think I'm moving slow. I'm a student. I can't move fast. I don't know what I'm doing. So this is a teaching hospital, nut job. Oh, my goodness. He made me so mad. Well, okay. So the story goes some months later. I'm working in the outpatient center all by myself. So I did write a letter. I said, no, I want to write this up. I wanted it in his record. That's what I'm saying. Don't argue with these people back. Do not verbally argue. Write it down and send it to HR. That way it's in their record. You have a paper trail, even as a student, filing a complaint. When people do stuff like that, it need to stick with them because you're not the first one and you won't be the last one. And other people, things will change by when you file a paper complaint. They're not going to kick you out of school for it. Don't let people, somebody came in my comment and said, if you speak up, they're going to kick you out of the program. No, they're not. They can't kick you out of the program unless they want to be sued. People cannot treat others in a hostile manner in a work environment. And that includes treating students that way. Okay. Just have all your stuff written down in a paper trail. Keep a paper trail. So months later, I'm in the outpatient center going to get the next patient, and the surgeon needed to get their patient's orthopedic images. I didn't know what this doctor looked like because he had a mask on. We was in the OR. He knew what I looked like because I took my mask down. So this doctor comes in, good looking doctor, y'all. He was good looking. And he came in, talking to him and stuff, but he looked, and I think my voice is what he recognized. My voice is very distinct. And I look at his name on his lab coat, and I was like, oh, shucks, this is that doctor. It was him, y'all. It was him. He was so nice. Out of the OR, a lot of doctors are really nice. But he was really nice, but he recognized who I was. And he said, I want to apologize. He should apologize a long time ago. But he said, I want to apologize. I said, yeah, no problem. I was like, you're good, you're good. Thank you for apologizing. And that was months later. So, I just say all that to say, stand up for yourself. Don't make a mountain out of a molehill, but do stand up for yourself. Set your boundaries early. After that, I didn't have no more problems in the OR with nobody. But also, I was very aware of things. So I made sure, I didn't go as slow, but I was still learning, because you don't want to slow up things. You kind of gauge, am I going to go in this doctor room? Because this surgeon he don't like students. So I'm going to stay out of it. You kind of learn after a while. But yeah, I do think you should set boundaries. With that tech that got very aggressive with me, she was the only one. I really didn't have any problems with techs. I had good technologists that were my clinical instructors and that trained me. We had a very good environment of learning, I felt. So I didn't see those problems. You did have techs that didn't want to work with students, but they were never rude and nasty. And I didn't take offense that they didn't want to work with students. Some people on these social media get all bent out of shape because there are techs that don't want to work with them. So what? They don't have to. It's not in their job description. It's not in their job description that they have to work with a student. You have certain individuals in departments that are assigned to work with students. And that's a good thing, because you don't want everybody training you. Everybody don't do things the right way. Everybody doesn't, you just don't want everybody training you. So, and then some people don't want to be bothered, and they have that right. I can't say every day I want to work with students. Some days I don't feel like talking. I know that's a shock because I'm always on social media and have a podcast. But some days, everybody does not want to work with students. And it doesn't mean they're not appreciative of those I hear people come in the comments and say, people forget that they were students once. No, they don't forget. People got other stuff going on, y'all. And teaching a student was not what they signed up for when they took the job. And some people should be if they feel they should be compensated for extra work of working with students. I agree. It's an extra piece of work, and people should be paid. Just like when I remember working at the hospital, they didn't want to pay translation companies to, I'm trying to make sure my phone don't get hot. They didn't want to pay translation companies. So what they do is use the employees that spoke that language and didn't pay them. Eventually, the employees got hip to, wait a second. They're using us and not wanting to pay us for our ability to speak another language when they would have to pay another company, but they don't want to pay that company. So they're using their employees, and they stopped doing it. So they gladly pay another company, but they won't pay you to do the same thing. That's not okay. So why is it any different for technologists to want to be paid for doing extra work of clinical instructors? It's not. It's not. Oh, Emilio says they've been kicked out for being too slow. You should talk to your the managers and have a meeting with your department, because you need that experience in the OR as a student. I mean, you don't want to be super slow. You want to speed up. If you've been down there a few times, you should figure out and kind of speed up some. I will say, you can't be super slow in the OR. Every case is not for a student too. When you receive a new model, how long is the training typically? A modality, maybe. I think that's what they meant. A new modality. It depends. When I cross-trained over in the MRI, I don't really think they wanted me to work in there, because they gave me 30 days to learn. 30 days! And we didn't have any MRI schools, y'all. So everything was I was being trained by three technologists. One of them didn't, I don't think any of them really wanted me in there. But they couldn't keep anybody. They weren't nice to anybody. So people would get there, or people say, I don't want to go there. They're mean. And they were not pleasant at all. I will be honest. We eventually worked together just fine, but they were not pleasant. I literally only made it through because that's what I said I was going to do, and they weren't going to run me out of there. They tried, and then they saw you really can affect people by being nice and not letting them know that they are bothering you. That is so hard to do, even I would say for me, but I'm going to tell you, when your only option and your back is up against the wall, nobody else is trying to cross-train me. I had worked PRN at I had this job, y'all. I had worked my butt off for these people. Never called in. I was PRN. I worked all the time. Whenever the people called, I would come in if they needed me for half a day. I mean, I did it. And I went and asked, could I go down to MRI and cross-train? My manager was like, oh, the manager down there said he don't really want to cross-train anybody. He wants somebody that already knows it. And I was like, but y'all cross-train other people. He's like, well, it's not my department. Okay. Years later, so I left. This other job said, we'll train you to give you 30 days. I went on over there and I learned MRI over there. And I gave them all my time. And I wound up quitting that job. I had been there forever. I quit that job. I went back as an MRI technologist. Okay. I didn't do CT. They wanted me to do. I said, nope, I'm only coming as MRI tech. Y'all not going to burn me out. Turns out, when I asked the manager, I said, because this manager that was my manager now, and I asked the other manager. So the manager that was my CT tech manager is now the manager over all the imaging. Okay? So when I came back as an MRI tech, that manager was over everything now. So they hired me as an MRI tech. The gentleman that was the manager down at MRI was at another hospital that I floated through. And I asked him, I said, why didn't you? I said, I'm an MRI over at such and such hospital now. He was like, oh, he could barely look at me. I think both of them just was blocking me. I don't think it was one or the other. They both was blaming each other why they wouldn't let me in MRI. But I think they both were blocking me, honestly. But it shows you how things work out, y'all. People will block you. It ain't your time right now. It wasn't my time to do MRI right then. It wasn't a place where I needed to learn MRI. Because I probably would have had even worse situation trying to learn it. And so I wind up talking to him and saying, and I just straight up asked him. Because he wanted me to work some hours for him in his other hospital. And I was like, why wouldn't you let me learn cross-training MRI? He said, it wasn't me. It was so-and-so. I said, well, he's saying it's you. I'm that person. I'm a straight, if we cool and we talk, I'm going to ask you, why you just trying to block me? Why? I'm not mad. I just want to know. What did that do for you? Because I'm in this spot where you at right now. What you tried to block me and doing, I'm here. Nobody can stop y'all from what you want to do. Only you can. And when you get there, don't go back and rub it in their face. Just keep on moving. Just keep on moving. They see you. And then he wound up getting fired from that job. The other guy's still in his job, but I got a story for that one too. But I can't tell it because y'all would know who I'm talking about, so I can't tell it. But I'm going to tell the story, but not tell y'all what I was talking about. But I'm going to tell the story because it's important that you always keep your documents when it comes to when people say what they're going to pay you. Okay? Don't do handshakes. I got a series that I'm doing, so make sure y'all stay tuned to that series. It's called Beyond Base Pay. Salary negotiations for radiology technologists. I've already got it on LinkedIn. It's all episodes. I only got episode 8, 9, and 10 coming up this week on LinkedIn, and I'm going to post it on YouTube, Instagram, everything for you guys. It's a 10-episode series on salary negotiations just for radiology technology medical imaging, because we're not like other professions where I don't feel like we're like other corporate places where they negotiate their pay. Most hospitals have a set pay that you come in, tier levels. You need to know about them tier levels. You need to know how to negotiate when it comes to medical imaging, y'all. So my series is really out of the box. It is not cookie cutter. It is out of the box, and it's just stuff I've learned, and either from me in a bad situation or me not knowing, or what I have learned and being able to negotiate, or what people told me. So, but most of it's from my experience. So be sure to stay tuned on YouTube for that series to pop off. It's already one episode, so make sure you go to my playlist and you can look at Beyond Base Pay. It's a series. I've already got episode 1. The trailer is actually in there, so be sure to check out the trailer. Starting Monday, episodes will be dropped. So be sure to check it out. So episodes are going to drop so you guys can binge on that, ask any questions you want. It did really well over on LinkedIn, so I know it's going to do well here because we got to talk about salary too. I'm going to have to do a live where we talk about salary, negotiations, how to ask for more, and if they say we can't budge in the price, this is what you should do next. Everything's not about money. And it depends on where you are. Like I was talking to a coworker of mine, and she's younger, and she wants to work remote. And I said, hey, you're going to take a pay cut. And she's like, ooh, I'm too young to that right now. I agree. I totally agree. So when I see young techs working remote right now, I'm like, this is the time you need to be stacking that money. This is the time when you hit about 45, that's when you're looking at doing remote or clinical apps, that kind of stuff like that. On your 30s clinical apps. But remote working, you're going to drop by $10 an hour. You're going to lose about $10 an hour remote working, I'm telling you. And you stuck at the desk. I mean, if I'm going to drop, it's got to be a good reason to drop to be at home. Being at home is not that important to me. That's just me. It's not that important to me. I would rather, I'm at an age where I feel like I still can make good money doing what I do, and remote to take a pay cut now, because it's not like you're going to save on daycare. Your kids probably can't be home while you're working from home. I mean, at most remote jobs, if you MRI scanning remote, you can't be feeding the baby and chasing the kids around the house or whatever with the kids, making sandwiches and remote scanning. You got to be at the scanner running them scanners. Rad techs can work remotely? How? No. So specialty. Radiologic technologists, no, there are not any remotes where you can take x-rays from home. But MRI techs do work from home. Some, it's not a whole lot of jobs, but there are remote scanners out there. CT, 3D, doing 3D, cardiac. Yeah. But you got to get experience, before you start working remotely. It's very hard to get a job scanning remotely without having enough experience. Okay, let's see. What are the questions y'all have? Let's see if I missed any questions. This has been a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed. I am going to, it's 100 degrees outside. So my air, I had to turn it up because it's 100 degrees, y'all. So I am going to make my way in and park this car and get out of the sun and eat me a little food. If you all don't have any other questions, this live has been so much fun. It really has. I probably should wash my car, but it is way too hot. Way too hot. But this has been a lot of fun talking to you all. I'm pulling in my garage because it is hot outside. So hot I can't even really see myself backing up. Thank goodness I got a camera. Okay, there we go. Well, you know what? Now that I'm out of the sun, I could probably talk to y'all. Keep talking to y'all. Think I could go get some fruit and come back and talk to you? I just need to eat something. I'll turn this air down just a little bit. Woo! Okay, let's see. Okay, let's get it going. Okay, so what are some other things that you guys want to talk about? Let's see. Y'all have some good questions here. When it comes to being strategic of pros and cons of going to school to radiologic technology school is, if you start out in radiologic technology, get your 2 years there, I would say go to CT, mammo, or interventional first. One of those things first, and then get your certification in one of those. The reason why I say that, the pro to doing that is they all follow the same principles you just learned for the last 2 years, which is radiation. That they all follow that. MRI does not have anything. You didn't learn MRI those 2 years. So now you're going to turn all that stuff off, go learn something else, and then try to go back. I personally went CT route and interventional, and I did CT. So those principles made sense to me, easier because they followed the one I have been studying for the last 2. After that CT, I went to MRI. I was actually going to Nuke Med. That didn't work out. I got a story on that, so you can check out the videos on that of why I did not go to Nuke Med school, why I didn't finish Nuke Med school. But after that, I cross-trained into MRI. MRI was easier because I was doing cross-sectional and CT, so that part was a breeze. Just the physics part was a little harder for me when it came to MRI. But other than that, some water. That is the strategy, I would say. And then from that, just each place that you go, make sure you get your certification before you move to the next one. That's my suggestion for that. It doesn't matter after those 3 where you go. Now, your other option would be if you want to go and get your master's, which you just decide what you want to get your master's in, because you can get your associate's in radiology. Say you got your associate's degree in radiology. You add another certification, say you add CT. you're working at a job full time, what I would encourage you to do is get that job to pay for your bachelor's. Because if you didn't go to a bachelor's radiology program, you could get that. Hello, everyone has just popped in. If you didn't get that bachelor's, your current job can pay for your bachelor's degree while you're already working. Take some online classes, finish out your bachelor's degree. If you work at a hospital that has a bridge program for radiologic technologists who have an associate's degree, I would do the bridge program and your employer can pay for it. That's another way to do it, so it's not coming out your pocket. Most employers have tuition reimbursement. Take advantage of it. Oh, goodness, take advantage of it. Some people are like, well, they know I'm going to go for this, and that means I'm going to leave the company. That don't mean you're still not entitled to the money. They don't need to know what you're going to school for. Just reimburse me. You give me tuition reimbursement, just give me my money. They don't need to know why. And that's not something you really should concern yourself with. Just get the money and pay yourself back for going to school. And you're working. You're entitled to that money. You're working for them. But you got to ask. You got to figure out what qualifies you. But that's what I would do. And then once you do that for radiology school, now if you have your bachelor's, you can apply to Weber State or another school that has a radiologist assist program. That is something that can later on down the road, once you get that, can serve you well, depending on where that field goes. It's grown in the last 20 years. From when I first heard it started, and it's going to keep growing. So you may in the future want to advance to an advanced practitioner. Who can say that they are a physician's assistant? What is a radiology assistant? So a radiologist assistant is someone that can do what a radiologist does. It is an advanced practitioner in our field. Someone who can put in ports, put in feeding tubes, do different barium enemas, just like the radiologist does those things. They do fluoroscopy exams and do those kind of things that the radiologist does. Some radiologist assistants do guided biopsies and things like that. So yeah, it's a lot of advanced things that we could do along with our doctors. But it is a master level advanced practitioner program. And you have to have a master's degree to do it. But you have to be a radiologic technologist first. And that is one of the pros of going to school for radiologic technology first instead of something else. Makes sense, right? Let's think of some other things. What about if you're over 40 going back to school for radiology? Starting over. I get that comment a lot. I think it's fantastic. Some people act like 40 is so old. I don't know where people get that from. But 40 is not old. 40 is not old at all. At all. I feel like it's the prime of your life. You know who you are. You know what you want to do. You are very sure of what you want to do. And, that's what I would say. I mean, I think that's an excellent time for you to explore going back to school for medical imaging. I don't think it's too old. I think you make a great student. You be determined and you be getting into a profession that is not hard on your body. It has flexibility. At that point in your life, I would think in your 40s, your kids are either off at college or going off into college, you're getting ready to be an empty nester. You still need to work because you don't get insurance. You don't get Social Security, but maybe you retired from another job that you have been on since you were young. And now you're starting your second career, but you still need to work, but you want flexibility. You don't want to work Monday through Friday. You want to work 3/12s. You want to work weekends. You want to work nights, but you only want to work a few days. You want to work PRN. This is the perfect career for you. Those are all pros. I know I should be giving y'all some cons, but I honestly cannot think of any cons. I can. Give me a moment. A con, okay. A con of being a radiology technologist is, if you don't really like people, it's a profession where you're going to be around people. And it's just not patience. You are going to be around your coworkers. I mean, some jobs I have, I'm in a room with like 8 people talking 5 different conversations, and I'm trying to listen to the patient. Sometimes it's like, oh, I wish everybody just be quiet. Some days I'm like, oh, I wish I was this. Some places I'm all alone, all by myself. Nothing, which is, I mean, that's some of the cons is you're not going to be alone in some departments. You're always going to be around people. Finishing up my last round of clinicals. My dean is trying to convince me into going into nuclear med since I love physics so much. Yeah, nuke med is chemistry, a lot of chemistry. Nuke med is really good. I was excited to start my first day in nuke med school, but then my dad got sick, so and it took a month before I had relief from being able to go back and do that. But I was just tired. Don't know much about it. I would say if you're in school right now in clinicals, I would ask to rotate. If your dean is already pushing you towards that, maybe they can have you go over to nuke med and spend a couple days on your off days in nuke med and figure out what it's all about if you like it. Are those 12-hour shifts back to back or a day in between? Most people work back to back. So, or you might have a Friday, Monday, Tuesday. So you got the weekend in between. I personally wouldn't want that. Because working Friday, you can't go anywhere because you got to be back to work Monday and Tuesday. Who wants to go on vacation Wednesday, Thursday? I wouldn't want that. But there are some people that work Friday, Monday, Tuesday. I don't know many 312 shifts that are not succinct because it just doesn't make sense for me to work Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 12 hours, and the other person Tuesday, Thursday. It just doesn't make sense. It usually works better for a schedule. Because it's not just those people. You usually have a whole department that's working 312s, 410s. And there's that little person usually that kind of fills in the gap, a PRN or a part-timer. That fills in that odd day that's not covered by those 312s, 410s. What else? I think that's it. Ooh, it's hard to be on the live this long. Ooh, I'm a little tired anyway, too. The sun has zapped me. So I feel like I need to lay down. But I'm drinking water. I feel like that's what I need to be doing. Back-to-back sounds brutal. For some people, it is brutal. If I was to work full-time, I would only want to do 312s. I'm not even going to joke. 312s. I don't want to be at somebody's job 4 days a week or 5 days a week. I personally don't. Get it over with. I'm done. And I can go on about my business. I would rather have 4 days off. And I go out of town and lay down on somebody's beach. And relax. But it can be brutal for some people. Some people do say, I am not doing 312s. I would do 5/8s. And I think I got some comments on some of my posts there where people are like, I am going to do 5/8s. And that's it. I do not want to do 3 12-hour days. I don't think they're that bad. Some days I don't feel like doing them, but giving me the option of doing 312s if I had to work full time or working 5/8s, I do not want to come to somebody's job 5 days a week. I don't. That's just me. Okay, everybody. Well, this has been great. I am hungry now. I got to go in and eat. I could probably take y'all in with me to eat, but I don't see any more questions coming through. Y'all enjoy your Saturday. Be sure to check out my series, Beyond Base Pay. The trailer is up now. Check out my book, Rachel the Radiographer, and all of my podcast episodes of A Couple of Rad Texts. Episodes drop every week, usually Thursday at 8 a.m. Every week is an episode. And until my next live, which I'm going to try to do these weeklies, I just got to see which day is best. But y'all seem to be pretty active on Saturdays, so I may have to do it midday Saturday. Have a great weekend, and thank y'all so much for your time, for your questions, for your likes. I hope I answered all of your questions. Thank you.